Section 14 of Great Pirate Stories. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Great Pirate Stories by Various. Edited by Joseph Louis French. Section 14. The Fight between the Dorrill and the Moca. The fight between the Dorrill and the Moca. These truly represented a scheme of what misfortune has befell us as we were going through the Straits of Malacca. In the pursuance to our pretended voyage, Wednesday the 7th July, 5 o'clock morning, we espied a ship to windward. As soon as was well light perceived her to bear down upon us. We thought at first she had been a Dutchman bound for Achin or Bengal, when perceived she had no galleries. Did then suppose her to be what after, to our dreadful sorrow, found her. We got our ship in the best posture of defence that sudden emergent necessity would permit. We kept good looking out, expecting to see an island called Pulu Baraha, but as then saw it not. About 8 of the clock the ship came up fairly within shot. Saw in room of our galleries there was large sally ports, in each of which was a large gun, seemed to be brass. Her taffrail was likewise taken down. We having nothing that possibly could prepare ourselves, fearing might be suddenly set on, ordered our people to their respective stations for action. We now hoisted our colours. The captain commanded to nail our ensign to the staff in sight of the enemy, which was immediately done. As they perceived we hoisted our colours, they hoisted theirs, with the Union Jack, and let fly a broad red pendant at their main topmast ahead. The pirate being now in little more than half pistol shot from us, we could discern abundance of men who went aft to the quarter deck, which as we supposed was to consult. They stood as we stood, but we spoke neither to other. At no one it fell calm, so that we were afraid should by the sea have been hove on one another. At 1 o'clock sprang up a gale. The pirate kept as we kept. At 3 o'clock the villain backed her sails, and they went from us. We kept closing hauled, having a contrary wind from Malacca. When the pirate was about 7 miles distant, tacked and stood after us. At 6 the evening saw the looked for island, and the pirate came up with us on our starboard side within shot. We see he kept a man at each topmast ahead, looking out till it was dark. Then he hauled a little from us, but kept us company all night. At 8 in the morning he drew near us, but we had time to mount our other 4 guns that were in hold, and now we were in the best posture of defence could desire. He drawing near us, and seeing that if we would we could not get from him, he far outsailing us by or large in one direction or another. The captain resolved to see what the rogue would do, so ordered to hand furl all our small sails and furled our mainsail. He, seeing this, did the like, and as he drew near us beat a drum and sounded trumpets, and then hailed us 4 times before we answered him. At last it was thought fit to know what he would say, so the boatswain spoke to him as was ordered, which was that we came from London. Then he inquired whether peace or war with France. Our answer, there was a universal peace through Europe. At which they paused, and then said, "That's well." He further inquired if we had touched at Achin. We said a boat came off to us, but we came not near it by several leagues. Further he inquired our captain's name, and whither we were bound. We answered to Malacca. They too, and would have had the captain gone aboard to drink a glass of wine. We said that would see one another at Malacca. Then he called to lie by, and he would come aboard us. Our answer was as before, saying it was late. He said, true, it was for China, and inquired whether should touch at the water islands Pulo Anden off Malacca. We said should. Then said he, so shall we. After he had asked us all these questions, we desired to know from whence he was. He said from London, their captain named Colliford, the ship named the Resolution, bound for China. This Colliford had been gunner's mate at Bombay, and after run away with the ketch. Thus passed the 8th July, Friday the 9th due. He being some distance from us, about half an hour after 10 came up with us. Then it grew calm. We could discern a fellow on the quarter deck wearing a sword. As he drew near, this hellish imp cried, "Strike, you dogs," which we perceived was not by a general consent, for he was called away. Our boatswain in a fury run upon the poop, unknown to the captain, and answered that we would strike to no such dogs as he, telling him the rogue, every and his accomplices were all hanged. The captain was angry that he spake without order. Then ordered to hail him, and asked what was his reason to dog us. One stepped forward on the forecastle, beckoned with his hand, and said, "Gentlemen, we want not your ship nor men, but money." We told them had none for them, but bid them come up alongside and take it as could get it. Then a parcel of bloodhound rogues clashed their cutlashes and said they would have it or our heart's blood, saying, "What, do you not know us to be, the Moca?" Our answer was, "Yes, yes." Thereon they gave a great shout, and so they all went out of sight and we to our quarters. They were going to hoist colours, but the ensign halyards broke, which our people perceiving gave a great shout, so they let them alone. As soon as they could bring their chase guns to bear, fired upon us, and so kept on our quarter. Our guns would not bear in a small space, but as soon as did hap, gave them better than the pirates did like. His second shot carried away our sprit sail yard, and half an hour after or more he came up alongside, and so we powered in upon him and continued, sometime broadsides and sometimes 3 or 4 guns as opportunity presented, and could bring them to do best service. He was going to lay us athwart and house, but by God's providence Captain Hyde frustrated his intent by pouring a broadside into him, which made him give back and go astern, where he lay and paused without firing. Then in a small space fired 1 gun. The shot came in at our roundhouse window without damage to any person, after which he filled and bore away, and when was about a quarter mile off fired a gun to leeward, which we answered by another to windward. About an hour after he tacked and came up with us again. We made no sail, but lay by to receive him, but he kept aloof off. The distance at most in all our firing was never more than 2 ship lengths. The time of our engagement was from half